Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Junior Francica, and today we're going to discuss the best school systems in the area. This is a question I get all the time, so let's get right into it. All right guys, so as we dive in here and getting to the video, we are actually going to go to niche.com because they are the ones that came out with the new 2024 projected grades for the schools in the area. And as you can see here, we are going to look at the school districts in the Chattanooga area. For those of you that are out of town, Hamilton County, Chattanooga is rather small compared to bigger cities, so they actually have put, I believe about 5 or so counties mixed together, which is a couple counties in North Georgia and in the Tennessee area. So coming into it, we're going to start with Hamilton County, where Chattanooga is located, and that's number 7 on the list. And Hamilton County gets a overall grade of B, as you can see right here. And you can see the metrics of what has been graded. Teachers A-, academics B, clubs and activities C+, so on and so forth. And what I want to do is I want to come down here to the map, because a lot of times people tell me, hey, I want to live close to a better school system for my kids, or hey, I really don't care about the school systems. I just want a certain type of house. And if you come onto this website and you come onto the map section, you can see where all the schools have their grades. So depending on the area, whether you care about the area more, not so much about the schools, right? So if you're going to come up to kind of the Harrison area, there's a school that's A over here. The Ottawa area has a school that's B- over here, like so on and so forth. You can kind of go along this, and you can actually click on them, and you can see exactly what school it is, and you can click and see the profile for that school. And then just like everything, there's lists and grades. Over here, when you click on schools, there's actually best public elementary schools in Hamilton County, and it'll give it a grade. So if we go back to where the map is located, scroll down, this would just give you a nice base guideline of you being able to dictate where you want to live. If school system is the number one thing for you and you want to put your kids in a certain school, this is a great area for you to look at. So now if we exit off the map, we just click close over here, and something that you should take into account is like, why is this a B compared to other places where we're going to start getting up on the list? Why are those places better than this? And I'm actually going to put a link below, along with the link of all these schools that you can find, of how niche.com comes up with their criteria of how they score things. It's a long page. You can read through it thoroughly at your leisure. I can also put it up on the screen here, so you can either just click pause so you can kind of read through this one, click pause again, and click pause one more time. All right, so that's how they come up with their school system. So let's go ahead and go to the next school that we're going to discuss. By the way, guys, I'm also a real estate agent here in the area. If you're moving here, I'd love to work with you and love to help you move and find a home in the area. Here's my number on the screen. We'd love to hear from you. Back to the video. So the next school we're going to discuss is Cleveland City School District. So what we're going to do, essentially the next 4 out of these 5 schools actually have a school system of the city and a school system of the county. For example, Cleveland City School District, you're also going to see Bradley School District, which is the county, and Cleveland is actually the big city in Bradley County. Just FYI. So Cleveland gets number 5, and they have an overall grade of B+. And as you can see here, it has a little bit better metrics as far as where they score with like the clubs and activities compared to Hamilton County, and a couple of other things. So if we go into the map, kind of like we did in Hamilton County, you can see where all the schools are located and what their grades are for those schools. Something I will mention is that the biggest county system in the area is Hamilton County, and I believe they have about 45,000 students, whereas the next 5 schools that we're going to discuss on the list have way less than that, maybe 10,000 on the high end. So that's something to take into account. So as you can see, Cleveland City, you have the city limits outskirts here, and where all the schools are located. Again, you can click on them and kind of view them and view their own profile and where they rank. So I know a big thing is, yes, we want to be in a great school system, but where are we going to live? And something that I'm going to discuss along the way with each of these school systems. And what exactly can you find here? I've actually made a video on Cleveland, and I'll link it up top. That you can view what Cleveland has to offer. But essentially, it's a little bit smaller town than Chattanooga. It has a little bit more country feel. So if that's what you're looking for, Cleveland can be a great option for you. The next county we're going to discuss is Dalton Public Schools. And Dalton is actually in the Georgia side, probably about 30 to 40 minutes to downtown Chattanooga, depending where it is you want to live. So this is the first school that we're going to discuss that's over in the Georgia side. And as we look over here, it's number 4 on the list, and it gets a grade of a B+. And if we just look at the full report card, there's no C's there. Everything is a little bit better than the last one, of course, because it has a bigger grade. And if those things are more important to you, that's definitely a school to look into as we go and progress along this list. Again, if we go and click on the map, that shows you the city limits and where those schools are located. Now, as you can see here, you do have some C+ schools, even though the grade for the overall area is B+. Again, I don't know exactly how niche.com comes up with their grades, but I will leave a link in the description so you can read all about that. And also too, so you know, this area in Dalton is a lot more country. It's in the Georgia side, and you know, taxes come into play where you have a lot more income tax. You have different types of property taxes. That's something that you need to take into account. But it does still have you know, kind of that small town country feel that Cleveland has. I believe it's probably similar size, maybe a little bit smaller than Cleveland, but still has some rolling hills, which I'll show with some drone shots. The schools are beautiful, the area is beautiful, and definitely somewhere you should consider. And rolling into the next school, we're actually going to talk about Whitfield County, where Dalton, Georgia is located. So I discussed already that we're going to have some cities and then some counties, and this is the county where Dalton is located in. So the county schools there actually have or come up number 3 in the list, whereas Dalton, the city, comes up number 4. But again, if we look at the overall grade that niche gives them, they have a B+. And here you can see the academics, diversity, teachers, college prep, clubs and activities, sports, food, administration, and resources and facilities are all a little bit better than the previous schools that I've already spoken about. So if we come to the map over here, you can zoom in a little bit and you see where Dalton is. That's kind of where the city limit lies. So we're discussing the county over here, and as you can tell, there's a lot more schools in the county, of course, because it's a lot bigger. And there's actually a couple of schools bordering the Dalton or city limits area. And over here, kind of like everywhere else, you can click on a school and see where the better graded schools according to niche.com are, and you can see if those are kind of areas that you would also like to live as well. As I mentioned, Dalton is kind of a small town city. So if we're gonna expand around Dalton and kind of go a little bit further out, we're gonna start getting a lot more country, a lot more rural. For example, there's a city over here kind of up on this way. It's Cahutta. It's a beautiful city, has a cute tiny little downtown with an ice cream shop. It has a couple places that you can get some food and maybe some tiny groceries, but for the most part, it's just country. It's just more rural living when compared to living in downtown Dalton. But again, you can live on the outskirts of Dalton City. So if you want to be in these school districts right here, you're close still to everything. But as you start pushing out, just know that it's going to be a little bit more rural setting. But as you can see, this road right here is called Cleveland Highway. It actually connects Dalton, and then we can take it all the way up to Cleveland. And on the Tennessee side, it's called Dalton Pike because, of course, you take it from Cleveland to get to Dalton. And then on the Georgia side, you take it from Dalton to connect yourself to Cleveland. Now, from Dalton to Cleveland, it's probably about same thing, 30 to 40 minutes, but just know that you're living a little bit more rural when you're spreading out yourself to the countryside. One good thing that I will mention about the Dalton and Whitfield County area is you have 75 running right down through it. So if you're anywhere around the 75 area, it's easy for you to get on the highway and go to a little bit bigger town like Ringgold, or just go all the way down to the Chattanooga area. So that's something to take into account. So you could live, kind of over here in a rural area, get on 75 and you're in Ringgold, where there's a lot more, not a lot, but a couple more not a lot, but a couple more restaurants, some small shopping, and then keep going if you want to get to the Chattanooga area. So a great option for you and something to think about. All right, so the next area we're going to discuss is Catoosa County Schools, and this is where Ringgold, Georgia is located. I've actually made a video on Ringgold, which I will link above in the description or below, or link above and also be in the description below. But Catoosa County is also in North Georgia. So again, with living in Georgia, there's differences in taxes. So you will have state income tax, you will have cheaper sales tax, but property taxes are also different as well. So that's always something that you need to take into account. Just so you know, guys, if you're moving to the area, I'm a real estate agent in the area, and we can help you break down all the different costs associated with all these different areas, and we can actually help you find homes in these areas as well. So Catoosa County is number 2 on the list. And again, it has a B+ score. And if we look at the full report card, it has a lot more B pluses and a lot more A's that I can see right here. If we scroll down, we can kind of see the county and a map of where it's located. And again, 75 runs right through it. The main city or the main area that you will find here is Ringgold. That's kind of the biggest city here. You kind of have Fort O over here, which is kind of a small little town. And as you keep going, you're going to have Rossville over here, which is also kind of a biggish kind of town. But the main part or the main city you're going to have here in Catoosa County is Ringgold, Georgia. So as you start pushing out a little bit further out from Ringgold, right? So you have more things to do here. You have more, restaurants. You have more grocery stores right here. As you start pushing out this way or kind of up this way, it starts to get very country, very rural-like. Over here, there's still more things to do because you have Fort O. You have, Rossville over here. So it's not as country on this side, but lower part of Catoosa County or northeast part of Catoosa County, it is or tends to be a little bit more country. You have 75 running through it, so you can easily get on 75 from Ringgold to downtown is about 25-30 minutes, which is awesome. And that's why a lot of people love living in this area, because you are closer to Chattanooga. According to the list, you have better schools than the Chattanooga or Hamilton County, and that's definitely a big plus for people. But again, taxes, property taxes, all that type of stuff you need to take into account. All right. And the very best school that you're going to find on this list is actually Bradley County School District, and it's number 1 on the school districts in the Chattanooga area. If we look at the overall grade, it's an A-, and I believe this is the only place that you will get an A-. Everything is above a C except resources and facilities, but somehow with the way that they grade things, it comes out with an A-. Okay, let's go down into the map. And again, this is the Cleveland city lines right here. And I'm not sure why they have county schools within the city limits, but that's just how they do stuff over there in Bradley County. So as you can see here, everything's kind of spread out. Cleveland, Tennessee is kind of right here in the middle. And again, it's a bigger city than Dalton. It's a bigger city than Ringgold. So if you still want to have kind of that country life feel, maybe live a little bit further out, but still have those amenities like Chipotle and restaurants and grocery stores and Target and all those type of places, this may be a great option for you. And again, 75 also runs through the kind of upper half of Bradley County. So you can live, in this area of Cleveland or Bradley County and be about 30 to 40 minutes to downtown Chattanooga, which a lot of people love that. Something else that I want to point about Bradley County, you have the Ocoee Road right here. So you have the Ocoee River over here. They actually have the Olympics for whitewater rafting back in the 80s or early 90s. I don't remember exactly when, but this area right here is very mountainous, very beautiful, but it has great school systems, and according to niche.com, it's the best school system in the area.